This is video the moment an explosion sent a rock of molten lava the size of a basketball through the roof of a tour boat this morning.
Now, the so-called lava bomb in waters off the Big Island sent volcanic debris raining down on passengers and crew members.
Tonight, more than 24 people are recovering from injuries. Good evening, I'm Paula Akana.
And I'm Robert Kilauea. We've got live team coverage with Island News reporters Eliza Larson and Brenton Awal tonight, but we start with Island News reporter Paul Drews joining us live from the Big Island. Paul, good evening.
Good evening to you too. There's been a flurry of activity, as you can still hear and see behind me on board the hotspot. That is the Lava Ocean tour boat that was hit by this morning's eruption. Now, crews are busy clearing it out of all the lava that rained down on it earlier today. But earlier this morning, inspectors cleared out the ship's GPS to make sure that boat had remained 50 yards from shore when the incident happened. When it did, 23 people on board, 23 passengers on board the boat were injured, including one with serious injuries to her hip. Lindsay Rostrom, a visitor from Houston, Texas, was showered with bits of lava, ending up with burns and scrapes on her hand, legs, and body. Passengers told me after the explosive eruption, the boat raced back to Hilo as crews and fellow passengers helped out those who were hurt. Meanwhile, the Hilo Medical Center was alerted a wave of injured people would be arriving.
We got the call at shortly before 7, and then shortly after 7, we received the first patient, and from then we sent up incident command at the hospital in the ER.
Now, they kept overnight staff there to handle the rush as 13 patients arrived, 4 by ambulance and 4 by car. Luckily, most of the patients' injuries were minor scrapes and burns.
45 staff members is a lot of people to have all hands on deck, and we're very proud of the response that we were able to provide.
But one woman's injuries to her hip was so severe that the trauma surgeon and orthopedic surgeon on staff were not able to help her, and she was immediately flown to Oahu for treatment. Another 10 passengers, like Lindsay, were treated by paramedics at the boat harbor and did not go to the hospital. Now, when I talked to Lindsay, who said she didn't want to go on camera because she and others had been attacked by lava this morning, but she did want to make a couple of points. One, that she said it happened so fast that in an instant she was going from enjoying the eruption thinking that she could die. She also did commend the crew on board the boat for their quick response to limit any further injuries or incident after it immediately happened. And she also said this incident wasn't going to tarnish her view of Hawaii or her vacation. Reporting live from the Big Island, Paul Drews for Island News.
All right, Paul, thank you for that live report. Now, Island News reporter Eliza Larson joining us live in the newsroom now with a look at how different agencies responded to this today. Eliza.
Well, Paula, finding out what happened is going to require a multi-agency investigation with the U.S. Coast Guard, Hawaii's Department of Land and Natural Resources, as well as Big Island first responders working together. Now, today, both the DLNR and the Coast Guard gave a brief update from Honolulu. According to the Coast Guard, the Lava Ocean Tours vessel was taking a sunrise look at Fisher 8 off Kapoho when the lava bomb happened. They also said the tour company was given special official permission to get closer than 300-meter safety zone. Now, how close they were is still to be determined. For now, the permitting process allowing tour groups to get closer has been suspended. Both Coast Guard officials as well as DLNR officials would not specify what penalties could be given after the investigation, which they said could be a long process since neither agency was out there when the lava bomb happened.
Regular procedures, if those procedures were deviated from, the routes they took in, the route they took out, the exact location, where the approximate location that they thought they were in when the incident itself happened, and then what actually happened during the incident, and then what measures they took, and there are probably plenty more, but that would be probably where the investigators would start.
If state law was violated, it'll depend on what law was actually violated to determine what the penalty is going to be.
Now, neither DLNR nor the Coast Guard could confirm if the owner of Lava Ocean Tours was cooperating in the investigation, but Coast Guard officials say the company would have been the first stop for questioning. Now, Island News did reach out to the owner for comment, but we have not heard back. Reporting live in the newsroom, Eliza Larson, Island News.
Eliza, thank you for that tonight.
Well, could tourism on the Big Island be further impacted by this morning's explosion?
Island News reporter Brenton Awad joins us live in studio tonight. Brenton, no doubt, Hawaii County Mayor's office has its hands full.
Sure do. The county has been considering ways to make viewing the flow available to the public. We're told that hasn't changed. However, the ocean explosion is a scenario it's taken into consideration when it comes to the dangers of getting too close to the flow.
There's no question that we have to do that because public safety is the most important thing that Hawaii County is concerned about.
Hawaii County Managing Director Will Okabe saying this scene could have been worse.
Should the lava bomb had hit the fuel area, the fuel tank, there could be a massive explosion and lives could have been lost.
Meanwhile, the U.S. Coast Guard safety zone extending just over 300 yards from the ocean entries. Starting in May, some vessels allowed inside that boundary. The limit for those with special permission, 100 yards out from the flow. And just last week, the Coast Guard allowing those boats to go in even closer at 50 yards from the entry, which we're told even raised concerns from one of the tour operators as being too close for safety.
We want to make sure that, tourists are given the opportunity, or visitors that come to the Big Island, to be able to see this particular phenomenon. And it's very important for not only for the island of Hawaii, but it's the state of Hawaii. But again, we need to really exercise caution, and we need to make that as one of the highest priority before we start to look at other opportunities for the tourists to view this lava.
And the mayor's office says it's reaching out to the victims of today's ocean explosion. As for safe sites on land to view the flow, the county says the situation is still too unpredictable for any concrete plans. Paula?
All right, thank you, Brenton, for that report. Now, here's the latest on the lava movement. U.S. Geological Survey reports the southernmost flow is still about a half a mile from Isaac Hale Park. Fissure 22 inside Leilani Estates was not active this morning, but sounds were heard from it last night. And Fissure 8 is still erupting, sending lava to Ahalanui and Kapoho.
Another explosion and collapse at Halema'uma'u crater triggered a 5.4 earthquake at 11:43 this morning. This video sped up, was taken moments after it hit, and no tsunami warning. According to scientists, the crater changes every day, and the walls around the rim continue to cave in. What exactly is a lava bomb?
Island weather meteorologist Pete Cajano joining us now with the answer to that question. Pete.
Yeah, basically what we have going on here is we have very hot lava, as you'd expect. This is likely red lava. You can tell the approximate temperature of lava by the color. This is likely red lava, about 1,300 degrees, interacting with water just offshore, which is close to 80 degrees. Now, the difference in temperature creates these steam explosions. And with those explosions happening, a lot like if you try to pour water on an oil fire, it kind of explodes out. You never want to do that. Well, the same thing happens when lava hits water. We see these steam explosions. When those steam explosions interact with rocks, that can cause projectiles, and that's what we call a lava bomb. It can get shot up in the atmosphere and obviously come back down. If you're close to it, can be a big, big danger. So this is just another danger from getting close to lava entering the ocean. We also obviously have talked about layes, that volcanic glass that can be created. That's just another danger, so we want to keep as far away, obviously, as possible. Now, shifting gears, we want to take you a little further away, off to the south and east, where we're watching a new disturbance. We haven't had much happen so far in tropical season 2018 for our hurricane season, but now we have a new disturbance, and there's a chance this could become a tropical depression or storm over the next few days. It is starting to kick up seas. We're looking at wave heights a little bit higher. Coming up, we're going to be talking more about this system, if it could bring us increasing rain chances, maybe even some surf. We'll have the details plus your forecast a little bit later. Paul and Robert.
Pete, mahalo for that. A man died after crashing his SUV into a rock wall on the Big Island today. According to police, happened on Highway 130 in Kilauea, and the victim, 48-year-old Peter Vincent Jr., crossed the center line at the intersection near Pohaku Place. He was not wearing a seatbelt. Police are still investigating whether speed or alcohol was involved.
Honolulu police have located the truck involved in a deadly hit-and-run crash in Kilauea last week. HPD says it's all thanks to an anonymous tip. The Ford F-150 truck has damage, police say consistent with debris found at the scene. No word yet whether anyone has been arrested. On July 10th, a motorist found the body of 49-year-old Mi Chak Chanwood on Kilauea on the side of the road.
Park rangers and Maui police are looking for a man accused of assaulting a female hiker in Haleakala National Park yesterday. Now, she described the man as 5'9", mid to late 30s, wearing black pants and a black T-shirt. Access to the crater from the summit and Kipahulu districts are closed through Wednesday afternoon, and no cabin or backcountry camping permits issued until further notice.
The world is warming up as scientists say climate change is becoming more real every day.
And as the world turns, Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell getting serious about rising sea levels. Island News reporter Le'ui Kaholokula was there when he put pen to paper today.
With the stroke of his pen, he seals the deal.
Okay, I signed it.
The first step toward tackling a rising issue, Hawaii's sea level changes. While the world warms up, climate change has its sights set on our island. But Honolulu Mayor Kirk Caldwell is trying to beat it to the punch.
There's no magic way to start. You just start.
On Monday, issuing a directive for all city departments and agencies to keep climate change in mind for future development. King tides, seasonal waves, and eroding seawalls already cause major problems, and he says it's only the beginning. The mayor is suggesting it's better to work with the elements than against them.
Yes, I think in some cases we must liberate our beaches in order to save them by allowing them to migrate inland. Instead of hardening our shores, we need to work with water. And there are consequences, some tough ones for property owners, but it's in the best overall interest of this community.
Data collected by the Climate Change Commission suggests planning for a 3.2-foot sea level rise by mid-century.
We've also recommended that there be a planning area of 6 feet of sea level rise established towards the end of the century.
But impacts are real, and we're seeing it now.
I know businesses that are experiencing, that are going through lawsuits because of the flooding issues that we're experiencing there right now.
Future changes won't be easy.
So $12.9 billion on the line. So spending a little bit now may save a whole lot, will save a whole lot later.
And it won't be cheap.
And our city is one of the first to make sure that we're doing actual concrete things to address that concern and alleviate that risk. That's going to bode well for our future.
But the city says it will be worth it. Le'ui Kaholokula, Island News.
An international team of scientists led by the University of Hawaii recently returned from a highly successful 34-day expedition on board the school-operated vessel Kilauea. Now, they found at least 10 species of sea cucumbers and a huge squid worm never before seen in the Pacific Ocean. And crews made 12 successful dives using lu'ukai, a remotely operated vehicle using robotic arms and deep sea cameras that got as deep as 3 miles, collecting data on more than 100 species of animals, some they've never seen before.
Adidas today announcing they've committed to using only recycled plastic by the year 2024. Financial Times reporting Adidas pledges to eliminate using virgin plastic, including polyester, in all sportswear, offices, retail outfits, warehouses, and distribution centers. The report also says only 14% of all plastic used in the world is collected for recycling. And it says research shows there will be more plastic than fish by weight in the ocean by the year 2050.
President Donald Trump one-on-one with the president of Russia.
Coming up on Island News at 6, successful summit or siding with the enemy, reaction from Congress.
For dozens of keiki, the chance of a lifetime, training with some of the best athletes in the world. Randy Higa joins us live in the newsroom. Randy.
That's right, Robert. Dozens are at Iolani School right now getting coached up by local boys turned Olympians on the men's national volleyball team. Plus, earlier in the day, former Major League Baseball players got together with lessons of their own. All that and more coming up later in sports.